the career of the good guy if he comes out on top over a guy with the amount of experience that Steve Corino has.
Well, I mean, all these fans know Steve Corino. We all know him at home. Of course, in America, he became famous for his tenure in ECW. He was a former world champion. No Jack Victory at his side anymore. But he's got a new manager that he just hugged it out with. And you're right, Clemson. If Azrieal came out on top, it would be a huge notch in his belt, and it would put him that much closer to where he wants to be, and that's in world title contention here in Jersey All Pro Wrestling.
Steve Corino, when we last saw him here in Jersey All Pro Wrestling 4.5 years ago, like I said, had quite the feud with Jay Lethal, which culminated in Atlantic City. But here in Rahway, Steve Corino assaulted the father of Jay Lethal back in the summer of that year. He almost assaulted Jay Lethal's mother. So Steve Corino has proved without a shadow of a doubt that he will do whatever it takes to come out with the victory.
That's because, Mark Clemson, the difference between you and Steve Corino is Steve Corino would be considered a winner. He is willing to do what it takes to win.
It's not my fault that I won't hit a woman.
He's not so worried about social faux pas and moral conundrums as he is about getting the 1, 2, 3, the submission, or even the DQ or countout. It doesn't matter. As long as the V is next to Steve Corino's name, he's done his job.
One's got to wonder if that's the reason he got the name Mr. Wrestling 3. He was given the name Mr. Wrestling by Mr. Wrestling 2, who wrestled in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Quite an honor for somebody like Steve Corino. He's a student of the game. All he does is study wrestling tapes. So when he was given that name, it was an honor to Steve Corino. Let's see if he can hold up that name here tonight against Azrieal.
In high school, all I did was study wrestling tapes, but instead of the nickname Mr. Wrestling 3, I was given the nickname of Virgin. So we each have our own experiences, but it looks like they're getting ready for a little test of strength here, Azrieal and Steve Corino.
And I gotta believe in this move, Steve Corino's 6'2", Azrieal's 5'8". So Steve Corino with almost 6 inches over the good guy, and it's gonna come out, it's gonna show in this move as Azrieal's already down to his knees.
But he's getting up now. Oh, and he kicks him, and he kicks it back. Azrieal will not take a beating sitting down, but I'll tell you this, Steve Corino, like you said, has studied wrestling tapes. He knows the tricks. He knows the tricks of the trade, and he knows how to get out by hook or crook of pretty much any hold.
I think Steve Corino right there just learned the hard way that he's not going to trade kicks in this matchup with the good guy Azrieal. We all know who Azrael's teachers are. It was Homicide and Low Ki. And what was Low Ki known for prime time? It was his kicks. And Azrieal just showed it right there, showed who his teachers was, and Steve Corino is back in the corner.
Steve Corino, this is why he's smart though. He realizes the power of Azrael's kicks. So he instead wants to get back to his corner, get a little time to breathe, and get into the kitchen of Azrieal, get into that head, because that's where Steve Corino is most dangerous, frustrating his opponents and causing them to make a mistake.
A longtime associate of Steve Corino, Rob Dimension. I know Rob Dimension for a few years now. I know he will get involved if he thinks Steve Corino is in trouble. So look to see if Rob Dimension will get involved in the contest. Right now we won't have to. Shoulder tackle by Mr. Wrestling 3 and another one. The good guys down to the mat.
You know, in real life, when an entertainer looks like he may have a bad deal. Oh, a drop kick, and Steve Corino goes outside the ring. When an entertainer has a bad deal, his manager, oh, and Corino, showing that experience, throws him into the guardrail. As I was saying, in entertainment, if an entertainer has a bad deal, his manager steps in and prevents it from going south. Why is it so bad that that is the same in wrestling? The manager simply does his job and makes sure that Steve Corino doesn't have a bad deal or a loss.
And I guess that's why Steve Corino must pay Rob Dimension the big bucks. Azrieal with the receipt as he just sent Steve Corino in the steel barricade. Steve Corino hit his head off of that light post, and right now the good guy is looking to take control of this matchup. Azrieal has had a lot of success at anniversary shows. It was at the 8th anniversary in Atlantic City. That same one, which was Steve Corino's last show in JAPW. He won the Best of the Light Heavyweights 10. And look at this, Rob Dimension already up on the ring apron as Azrieal brings this.
Oh, he kicks the rope.
No, and Rob Dimension was holding the leg of Azrieal.
Oh, so it's a little, see, there you go. Tandem effort. if everybody has such a problem with Rob Dimension getting involved, they could get their own managers.
Azrael's had them before. He once had Rick Silver, who was a lawyer here in New Jersey, be his manager.
Well, he should have had Rick Silver tonight, don't you think?
Maybe. Right now, just like that, the momentum of the contest shifting 180 degrees. And look at that, Steve Corino just burying his elbow with the bridge of the nose of Azrieal.
Steve Corino is not afraid to cross the line and hurt his opponent. He's not so worried about putting on the best show for the fans. He wants to cause as much damage as possible, and if that means gouging the eyes while the referee's back is turned, well then by God, that referee's back should not have been turned.
Once again, Rob Dimension doing his job, distracting referee Matt Bennett as Steve Corino a second time burying those elbows in the face of Azrieal. What's he doing here? Steve Corino's got something in his hands, I believe, and the referee didn't see a damn thing.
Well, that's it. The referee needs to do a better job of not worrying so much about what's going on the outside of the ring and worry about what's going on inside. I don't blame Steve Corino. I blame the referee.
Steve Corino, though, wasting a little bit of time here, motioning the fans here in the capacity crowd of Broadway, and a knife-edge chop right across the chest, and the good guy, Sam, is down and out.
And let's throw it up, if we could do it old school just for Mr. Steve Corino, high spot.
Another Irish rip. Azrieal hard in the turnbuckle again. Corino motioning the crowd, allowing Azrieal to regain his composure here. Steve Corino comes charging, and Azrieal this time gets out of the way and hits a chop of his own. A second time, a third time.
Steve Corino now gets whipped, and a big boot to Azrieal. Oh, drops him down to the canvas.
And Steve Corino with a cover here, but Azrieal able to kick out. And Rob Dimension is arguing at the top of his lungs to referee Matt Bennett, but that was clearly Sam Roberts, a 2 count.
Steve Corino, in his younger years, was a superstar of ECW when it was just as competitive can be. At the same time, Masato Tanaka, who we'll see later tonight against Homicide, was wrestling in ECW. We'll see who wins this match. Will the old school ECW guys be victorious, or our Jersey All Pro wrestlers?
Saying this matchup could set the pace for the night?
It could easily. I mean, this is a similar matchup in terms of experience as far as...
In a way, Azrieal could be in the shoes that Homicide's going to be in later on tonight.
And a lot of people don't know this, but Masato Tanaka also spent some time wrestling in Japan.
Yes, I would think so, yes. Steve Corino still with this abdominal stretch here on the good guy. Oh! Referee Matt Bennett blocked a low blow. That allowed Azrieal to turn around with a hip toss. Steve Corino up to his feet. Azrieal blocked that punch and kicked him right in the sternum.
What are these referees doing, putting their hands on wrestlers?
I'm not really quite sure what happened there, but either way, Azrael's glad Matt Bennett did it, as now Azrael's in control. Nice drop kick from the ropes, and Steve Corino's in trouble.
And it's a little hard to play psychological mind games when you're getting feet and fists to the head.
And Azrieal, I think he hurt his hand after those punches. Steve Corino blocked it, and a knee right to the sternum, but again, wasting time. Why is Steve Corino motioning to the crowd?
He's trying to get the fans behind him. Oh! Hurricane Rana.
Very good. Steve Corino's out to the floor, and once again, Azrieal measuring up his opponent. Goes over the top rope with the senton and takes out Steve Corino.
Steve Corino down. Azrieal down. And no, you go ahead. I said the referee is counting to 10. Oh, Azrael's up. He's going to throw him back in the ring, Clemson.
Azrieal learned his lesson from the first time. The first time you saw him go for the baseball side. Steve Corino sidestepped him. This time, Azrieal went over the top and hit his opponent.
Azrieal can't believe that he didn't hit 3 on that one, but it's not going to deter him. He goes right to Corino, and it looks like he's set up for a suplex, but he can't get the big man up.
Take a lot of power. Steve Corino fighting it. Tried to go for a short arm clothesline, but Azrieal comes back with some multiple chops. Comes up. Nice stunner. This could do it. Azrieal needs to go for the cover. He hooks the leg. Will Corino get out?
Corino kicks out of Azrael's stunner. What's it going to take to knock either of these two guys out?
And Rob Dimension still screaming to the fans. Rob Dimension basically saying he knew all along that Steve Corino was going to kick out.
A lot of Steve Corino's success in wrestling can be given to Rob Dimension's frosted tips.
Flatliner right there by Corino. Could this do it? Azrieal kicks out.
Corino is looking around at the crowd, a bit stunned. He thought that was it, but I mean, with the onslaught of defense that Azrieal has come across, it's going to take more than that. Superstar down.
16 years Steve Corino's been in wrestling, and right now he's saying, what do I have to do to put Azrieal away? Steve Corino's going deep down in his arsenal of maneuvers, measuring up Azrieal, trying to go for a clothesline, but Azrieal blocked it, and Azrieal now getting a second win here. Double underhook suplex, nice bridge, cover.
And a kick out by Steve Corino, and he's the king of old school. That was no clothesline, that was a lariat he was setting up. Big suplex, Corino goes down.
And Azrieal held on, goes for the suplex again. That's two, he's going for the trifecta. Azrieal going for the trifecta, and he hits it.
I guess Corino, I wonder if while he's laying on the mat, he's thinking about the irony of that number 3 being printed on the back of his tights.
Maybe that's got to take a lot of power.
Wait a minute, he's up on the apron.
Whoa. Rob Dimension again doing his job. Azrieal needs to turn his attention to his opponent and not to Rob Dimension. Steve Corino comes off the rope. Oh!
No, too smart, Clemson, too smart.
He almost went head to head.
In the manager. He's not a wrestler, he's a manager.
Dimension got hit with that flying forearm, but Azrieal paying more attention to the manager and not to Corino. Steve Corino has the good guy in a compromising position and a reverse pile driver.
And that's what Azrieal gets for putting his hands on a defenseless manager. What was he thinking?
I don't know about that, but Azrieal definitely wasted time. And nice clothesline, shining clothesline by Steve Corino, and he's victorious.
The king of old school is also the king of the new school.
Steve Corino hitting the sliding C special, and after a tough matchup, he was able to be victorious over Azrieal. Azrieal made one mistake in the match, and it was at the very end.